The question for both of you, 50 first, why this project, why now?
Well, we waited until after the results of the trial to release the project, but I started like almost 5 months before I was able to find Alex, and finding an Emmy Award-winning showrunner and director is detrimental to the project being really well put together. So, you know, they should expect it to perform like Reggie Jackson's did.
Thank you. Yeah, I think why it's coming out now is we wanted to wait, you know, to get through all of the legal proceedings, the criminal trial, and it spans, it's, you know, four parts, and it spans over 30 years of, you know, pop culture, his life. So it took some time, to say the least.
50 Cent is back in the headlines, and this time it's bigger than rap beef. His documentary drops explosive allegations about Diddy that have stunned the public. According to 50, this is only part of the story. What was left out may be even more damaging, and could change everything people thought they knew.
Say this. People are talking about how, you know, 50's attacking him and he's being petty. Now, keep in mind, out of all the women in the world that Diddy could have gotten with, he chose 50 Cent's baby mother.
It's a lot of variables to this particular question. Because I talk to a lot of people, older, younger, even my daughter, who's 22, she didn't understand it. So people give their opinion based on what they've experienced and their environment, people they've been around. So to the people that understand boundaries and respect, I always tell men you should never date another man's girl if you're not aware of it. If you know it, then it's wrong. But if you're aware of it, it's like basketball players that we talked about this before. Football players who date the same women.
Yeah.
And won't go outside the box.
Yeah, and I've never done that.
I've never
in
done
my
it.
life, I can honestly say at 52 years old, I have never dated someone.
In a revealing interview, comedian T.K. Kirkland breaks down the long-simmering tension between 50 Cent and Diddy. He claims Diddy dating 50's baby mother was no accident. To Kirkland, it crossed an unspoken code of respect. With unlimited options, Diddy's choice felt intentional and deeply personal.
Who was an ex of a friend of mine.
Right. I've never done
Sometimes
that.
I found out a girl that I'm messing with that also messed with this other dude that I know in the
yes.
industry, whatever. That's a little different. After the fact. But I would never go into it if that's like was his girl.
It's really the wrong thing to do. I've been presented in my lifetime. Women have come to me and they'll say, oh, you know my ex-husband, or you know my husband that passed. And when I was in my 30s, I leaped and did it. Because I said, if I died and was in a relationship and my baby mom was fine, ain't nobody gonna think of me. They're gonna date the person. So this is just some real shit. As I sit here today, knowing that there's an ocean filled of women.
Ocean. Billions. There are billions of women.
Billions.
Right. And that's the whole thing about Diddy. Diddy's not some nerdy dude who just happened to find some IG model and, oh my God, this is the girl of my dreams. Man, he has access to women all around the planet.
And that's his reputation.
But he went after the baby mother of one of his rivals.
Exactly.
Someone who had been taking shots at him for years.
Absolutely.
On purpose.
And he went after her knowing that they had beef.
Right. And slutted her out.
Slut her out.
Just slutted her out.
Slut her out.
Having a whole basketball team run a train on her.
Totally
and
did. I
just
totally
the whole
agree.
thing, right?
Totally agree.
Right.
But his reputation from when he worked at Uptown, I'll be sure's girlfriend.
Oh, Kim Porter.
Kim Porter.
Right.
That's his reputation.
I'll be sure his baby mother.
Baby mama.
Yeah.
Then Eric Serum, his friend, the one that had she had his baby, Mia. So he's had a reputation of going after people.
Tupac's ex-girlfriend. He got a baby with her too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my point that I'm making to the men listening, well, if you don't understand this, then you just poorly educated and don't really have common sense. It's a no-no. There's no way I would go.
Kirkland goes further, calling Diddy's move a calculated act of disrespect, not a misunderstanding. It raises uncomfortable questions about loyalty and boundaries at the highest levels of power. 50 Cent's documentary peels back these layers, framing the situation as betrayal, one that shocked even longtime industry insiders.
The documentary had to be downsized. You understand? I don't really believe that, because a documentary is a documentary, and they could have had 45 minutes, they could have had an hour, to each one of those. You understand? They left out certain things. He said they even left out the one about Sarah Chapman. You understand? And for whatever reason, he probably left out a lot of other different stars too. Situations that they could have spoke about. You understand? I have a problem with the documentary, and I'm just gonna let you know that the reason I have a problem with the documentary is that they know that they took my ideal. You understand? They know that when I came to them, I laid out what they should do and how the documentary should be. You understand? She could say whatever she want to say. I talked to those producers before I even talked to her. They wanted to know what I had, what I was bringing, my pictures, all that stuff like that. And I told them about me, Tim, and Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? And how it would go. They did the same thing. This ain't the first time they stole from me, man. If you look at the Notorious Big, if you watch the Notorious Big, that part about the shoes, I had that in my book. And I was talking to K.O. Copeland. He was one of the writers of that movie. And I told him about when I let Big use my shoes at Soul Train Award. You had this old flunky ass dude, Mike B, get on Angie Martinez's show and talk about, yo, Big, he wore mixed max shoes and he went out there and performed. When you go look at the film, when you go look at Big performing that on that show, ain't nothing mixed match about them shoes. There was $800 Maury's, size 14D. Big wore 14E. E means that his shoes is a little wider than mine. He struggled, but he put them on and he went out there and performed. Those was my Gators that he had on.
Gene Deal openly criticizes the documentary, alleging his ideas were used without credit. He claims he worked closely with producers and shaped key concepts, only to be erased later. This sparks serious questions about creative ownership, authenticity, and who truly controls the narrative behind the documentary's most powerful moments.
You understand? They did a little skit trying to disrespect me in the movie. You understand? And they said something about, oh, we got this shit from Big Sexy. He knew they called me Big Sexy, you understand, because I used to play ball with them at the Reebok on Columbus Avenue on Saturday morning. And on my arm, it had Big Sexy. Right there, Mighty. That was my pen name for Felon Magazine. People didn't notice I used to write for Felon Magazine. You understand? And because I was a parole officer writing for Felon Magazine, I named myself Big Sexy. You understand? So now, they go and steal my ideal and what I was writing in my book on the Notorious. Now they did this on this doc. That's what they do, bruh. They don't care, bruh. They did the same thing on the BMF things to my man who just did a book. His name is Alexander Newell out there in Detroit. They call him KK. Him and the brothers used to run around on the west side in the Brewster Project. They from the Brewster Projects. Him and his brother, what's Alex's brother name? Dangerous. They got him played in the movie as the name Dog in that BMF movie. Alex's brother name is Lawrence. I think it's Lawrence. Dangerous. Wasn't playing. When they got him up in the video, going into the game on the BMF thing and killing somebody in front of everybody in the basketball thing, he was that type of dude. Alex used to come to Harlem to see me. He actually took me to him, my man Kevin Thigpen. We all went to Atlantic City. We seen.
Gene Deal reveals a disturbing pattern: Diddy allegedly dating women connected to his rivals. From Tupac's exes to others tied to enemies, Deal suggests these relationships were strategic, not romantic. The implication is chilling. These choices may have been about dominance, control, and power, not love.
We had a time. Alex was the man. You know what I'm saying? So now they take his story, all the stuff they just switch around, change it for the BMF thing. That's what they do, bro. They caught me out there. Am I mad at him? I said, everybody, and you hear a guy, yo, why 50 didn't, fight for you to in the movie and the whole thing. Man, he don't supposed to fuck up his money for me. Why should he mess up his money for me? Nah, that was my fault. I shouldn't have told him shit. Or I should have had them sign something. If you do the documentary in this way, you owe me. Because it was my idea. They can't tell me they had that idea because they didn't know they had Tim. They didn't know they had Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't know that because they came to me first. So that's what they do, bruh. That documentary, and if 50 do another one, and I heard he's gonna put it on YouTube or do whatever he's gonna do, Puff ain't gonna have nothing to do with that. Puff ain't gonna have nothing to do to try to stop that because he can't. Because if he could stop it, it would have been stopped. You know why he can't stop it? Because Puff know people right there at Netflix. Don't think he don't. And I don't know if this guy still worked for them, but he was part of the flavor unit, Shakim. He was part of the flavor unit. He was good friends. He was cool with Puff and them. Flavor unit and them, Queen Latifah and them, they was cool with Puff. If Puff would have sent the cease and desist over there and they could do it and he had the power and they wasn't right, they would have been done it. You see it's still rolling, right? It's still going on, right? He ain't got that power no more.
Mark Curry shares unsettling stories that paint Diddy as intensely controlling. He recalls Diddy angrily confronting a producer for simply speaking to Kim Porter. According to Curry, Diddy micromanaged relationships inside his circle, revealing a possessive side that many never saw behind the polished public image.
Grown man, you carry yourself like a grown man. He doesn't carry himself like a friend,
So you're not surprised when you hear Cassie say that, Diddy, he used to hit her and she had to cover up her bruises with makeup. You're not surprised when you hear that. Because I interviewed Gene Deal and he wasn't around Bad Boy when Cassie was around, but he told me that, he did the same thing to Kim Porter.
Or you could take it before then, and then you can remember when Misa was dating, Eric Sermon from EPMD? And that was her childhood boyfriend, like coming up. They was the, lovey-dovey couple. And it was back then. He used to, do that with Misa. So, one thing I always say is, as a man, and as anyone in a relationship, we often go through these kind of things. So I've seen it in friends. I've seen it in him. I've seen fights. I've seen all kinds. I've seen fights where he have an argument, fight with a female, whatever it may be. I've seen it with my own friends. But sometimes you say, we all go through things, but once you have a sign of doing it over and over and over again, that's when it becomes a problem. You be like, so every relationship that you get in, you're violent in them? So you say, I don't have to wait to see what he would, I was around when Cassie was there. I knew Kim Porter before I knew Puff. I met Misa, but it was a history. When you have a history of the same thing, man, it becomes a problem. Something you do once or twice, you get over, first you're not supposed to put your hands on a woman's way I was raised. And the only person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, there's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man. It's still a boy, like a bad boy.
Speaking of Kim Porter, because you knew Kim Porter, is it true that Diddy broke her nose?
Bust her nose, man. But it was all,
Gene Deal makes one of the darkest allegations yet, claiming Diddy was physically abusive toward Kim Porter. He recounts an incident on a boat where Kim allegedly fell, but Deal believes she was struck. These claims challenge the glamorous narrative and raise the question, why were these allegations never fully confronted?
Unless they can hide unless she did her book on Google Duo and it's in the clouds and they could get somebody to get it out of there, she ain't got no book. It's just a conspiracy. Kim, it was alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. I don't know, man. How do you put your girl through some shit like that? Or how you look at your girl and knowing that she sexing another dude? What kind of demonic mind you have to be that far gone where that shit don't bother you for somebody that you love? But Kim Book was going to express all that. And I hope she did her book on Google Docs or she did her book somewhere that is floating in the cloud of the internet that somebody could go get it one day. Because any picture you take, anything that you write or say, it's in that internet cloud. It just gotta be, you just gotta go get it. And one day, somebody gonna go get it. But I'm sure that he probably got hold to those tablets or whatever she had, allegedly, and got rid of them. They swimming with the fishes.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She was gonna expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just curious, right? Did you know?
Gene Deal further attacks Diddy's legacy, alleging his success was built on manipulation and exploitation. He claims ideas were taken, credit denied, and people used to build an empire. The documentary reframes Diddy's rise, forcing viewers to ask whether fame was achieved through talent or questionable ethics.
That Diddy and Kim had that type of relationship back then in real time?
Yeah. Because I know somebody personally that lives in Atlanta that was swinging with them, and I would never mention his name because he's a good brother and he knows my family down there. You know, he knows my family down there, and I would never, put his name out there like that. He's been in the music business. He done put a lot of groups, A-listed groups out there, especially A-listed groups from Atlanta. So I would never put his name out there like that. But, I got the key, I got the pass key to everything. But then when, they needed more ice or they needed bottles and stuff like that, when I used to go to the door and I knock on the door and they open the door and then, my nosy, whoa, you see certain shit. Or they sitting in the jacuzzi together, all of them, nothing on. You see shit like that, bro. It is what it is.
Jaguar Wright delivers one of the most disturbing accounts, alleging Diddy's children were exposed to environments no child should witness. She argues the real story isn't success, but what happened behind closed doors. Her claims force the public to question Diddy's parenting, and why no one spoke up sooner.
He had a bottle of champagne. They was drinking Moet all of the time. You know, so I guess they don't consider cases of champagne and everybody having their own bottle and drinking out of their own bottle like it was a 40 ounce. I guess they don't consider that drinking, but I mean, I digress.
There was a part where he was going back and forth with Andre Harrell, and he was saying, "I'm gonna be drunk and high by Wednesday." I don't know. So I'm like, it seemed like the shift happened quickly when it comes to being introduced into this thing, you know, into this industry. So he's technically he might be a victim as well. I don't know.
I've already said that I believe that he was victimized, and I think it happened long before the industry. You know, people really don't want to look closer into his childhood and to what his mama had going on in that house. God knows what he saw and what happened to him in his own mama house. All of those strangers, them up involved, looking around, seeing what was going on. And let's just be clear, it sounds like her house was a house of, you know, professional freak-offs. So who knows what he saw or what could have happened to him while she was busy entertaining people and pouring and getting tips, as she would say, for her after-hour life.
Oh yeah. He was. I'm gonna say he was surprised to hear that.
School bus driver. No, was he surprised or was he like, "Zip it, you talking too much"? Because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like you talking a little bit too much. They don't need to know about that. While she was sitting up there, oh, because I was a bus driver and I was this and I worked at the.
Insiders speak about Diddy's infamous parties, gatherings filled with power, influence, and secrecy. Despite endless rumors, the documentary barely addresses them. That silence feels intentional. Who attended these events, and why are they avoided? The omission raises suspicion about what connections and truths remain hidden.
LEG.
Yeah. Jeez.
What straight grown man says that to another grown man? Because it sounds like the leg that he was referring to was his pee-pee skirt.
God damn. And again, we're bouncing around, but for Lil Rod, that whole part right there where he stated, you know, they would all just be drinking, and then all of a sudden everyone's out of it, and he would wake up with women next to him. Sometimes he'll wake up with Diddy next to him, not remembering what happened the night before.
Yeah.
That's as wild as it gets, man. There's so much left unsaid.
Just wake up with Diddy next to him. Wake up sore. But I'm tripping, all right? I'm tripping. I mean, that's what the whole world went around saying. I'm tripping. Okay.
When you see the Eric Sermon discussion about Misa, and you know, it seems like Diddy's just out there to take, you know, everyone's girl. It seems like, I'm, you know, if you got her, I want her. For the situation where they say he was trying to shape Misa into his mother, can you see that? Like,
yeah, with the blonde hair and yeah, and all of that. I mean, somebody really asked a question: what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same.
Jaguar Wright also claims Diddy had an obsession with Tupac Shakur. From dating women tied to Tupac to mirroring his persona, she suggests Diddy lived in constant comparison. The documentary explores how rivalry, imitation, and competition may have shaped Diddy's personal and professional decisions for decades.
Blaxploitation movies being played around the house all the time. They grew up with the Mac playing. They grew up with Superfly playing. Like, I mean, if if that's what you got going on, you got two women in the house and there's no men around, and these are what the little boys are watching. You got basketball players coming over late at night. You got hustlers coming over, PIMPs coming over, women who look like they were modeling for Jet Magazine coming over. Like, it sounds like the nature of the environment is what shaped their perception of what cool was. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure for him it was, oh man, that's who my dad was. You know, we glorified these characters. Like, even if you look at Biggie Smalls' name, Biggie Smalls is a character from an old Portier Cosby film, Uptown Saturday Night, I believe. 40th Street Black and all of those characters that they had in the film. Biggie Smalls was played by Calvin Lockhart. Big gangster from, I believe, St. Louis. Like, all of these characters.
Yeah. Without question.
Yeah. So I'm sure for him, it made him feel good because all of that stuff that he was watching, he really came from. Yeah, I'm sure for him it felt good to know that his dad was this big hustler who turned out to be a snitch, who got his brains removed from his head in a very, very, very unpleasant manner.
That's his tells.
Jack, there was a part in the documentary he kept saying, God told me to do nothing.
Yeah.
He's telling y'all need to do something. God tells me to do nothing. What are your thoughts on that?
This is what my thoughts on that. God said no. That's what God said. Like, he was wilding with the whole, God told me I can't do nothing. But he didn't say that you couldn't do something, and that you couldn't do something, and that you couldn't do something. God told you to do nothing. Why did you call Kalina 80 million times then? If God told you to do nothing, if God told you to be still. Speaking of God, did you see him with Little Rod working out?
Oh man, that was...
While they were on the come down from all of the pharmaceuticals and all of the weirdo behavior and all of the alcohol watching.
As the documentary unfolds, the controversies keep stacking up: betrayals, manipulation, and buried truths. With rumors of more footage coming, this story is far from finished. The question now isn't what's been revealed, but what's still being hidden. Stay locked in.
Kirk Burrows, he has said that, Diddy had, put his hands on his own mother, from what it happened long before the fame, or long before his notoriety.
During the first tragedy that made him famous, the City College celebrity basketball game that claimed 9 lives. Very similar to what happened with Travis Scott down in Houston for Astroworld. Isn't that funny? Isn't that such an odd coincidence? Diddy did that thing and 9 people ended up passing away at the end of it. Travis Scott did that thing and 9 people ended up passing away. Like, it's the coincidences are so interesting.
He no one got in real trouble for that. No one had to, I guess you could say, pay the piper in creating Bad Boy. He knew to take the business and put it in his mother's name. So therefore, they can never seize those assets. Technically, everything is still in his mother's name.
Kind of like how what is it, D4VD, the David kid, did after that girl came up, hacked up into pieces in his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back home to Texas, right outside of Houston, and started turning over assets immediately. While his PR team was lying, saying that he was cooperating with the police, when the police have made it very clear as of late, he has not cooperated at all, left the state almost immediately. So when he so-called moved out of the house, on, what was it? Doheny, and now they've changed the name to Virio. Isn't that funny? Girl gets found cut up in pieces right around the corner from a rental property, and they literally changed the name of the street within weeks. Isn't that interesting?
Oh yeah, no.
Huh?
Yeah, no, that was that's not a coincidence.
I know. Like I'm just, I guess the reason why I'm bringing up certain things is because a lot of people are trying to make this seem like it's just a Diddy issue rather than it's an industry issue.
So let me ask, because him putting his business in his mother's name and the U.S. attorneys trying to go after Rico that he used his business as an enterprise to do these sexual deviant things.
Yeah.
Technically, if he's just getting